What's up, universe? This is your boy Ed Honcho, with your co-host Shaq Kush, and we coming at another episode of the Kush Den and Kush Den Sports today. So we're gonna talk a little topic. We're gonna talk a little football. As you know, I am a certified homer for Houston sports. That'd be the Astros. That'd be the Rockets. That'd be the Texans. The Arrows. I don't even know where they at. I don't even know what the rules of baseball, but I'm a rock with Houston no matter what. And you know my co-host Shaq Kush here. Shaq Kush, shout out to the folks.
Touchdown, Timothy Tebow. Free throws all day.
On that note, let's get right into the subject that we're talking about today. Since we're talking about Timothy Tebow and subpar quarterbacking. Oh, and you already know that this is the Kush Den and this is a 420 friendly situation. So if you did not pre-roll, you out of control. Get your shit together. So I'm going to go ahead and spark up and we can get this conversation going. But like I said, today we're going to talk about the Texans' current options at quarterback now that Romo is off the market. So what's the next move? What are the possibilities at stake for the Texans with the biggest name free agents that we have? What could they do during the draft? What moves can still be made? So let's get right into it. Right now, the two biggest names out there are Colin Kaepernick and Jay Cutler. Now, Mr. Cushington, would you call yourself a Texans fan?
Of course.
Okay. So as a Texans fan, would you say day one, would you call yourself a bandwagoner? How would you classify your fandom?
Thinking David Carr all day long still. You know what I'm saying? Since day one.
Okay, day one Texan. That's what I'm talking about. Because you got a lot of these people who did jump on that Texans bandwagon when they started winning a few games. That kind of fell off a little bit, but that's where a majority of fans came, like those late Schaub years. And so those kind of characters I really don't have a lot of respect for. If you can't name them unknowns, if you wasn't around when who was Amon Green, you know what I'm saying? Herndon, guys like that were around them characters, them no names.
Jerome
Mathis, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, motherfuckers, it's some character. I mean, we might have to say that for another video talking about true Texans fans, and then we can go down the list of them unknowns so we can school these bandwagoners. But let's get the topic at hand. We're talking about the two free agents that are out there. We're talking about Jay Cutler, Colin Kaepernick, and then after we discuss them, we'll talk about some of the other quarterback options that could come in the draft or, possibilities of free agents that's out there. So right now, the most talk is Cutler and Kaepernick. Now, if you had a preference, Mr. Kush, who would you prefer to be at the reins of the Texans offense?
I have to go with Colin Kaepernick.
So is there any particular reason why you feel that Colin Kaepernick would be a better fit over Jay Cutler?
The reason why I go with Kaepernick is because I still have the hope that Patrick Wilson will come out of retirement and play for the Texans. Now, the joke, we all know that ain't going to happen, but that would be awesome.
That would be the greatest thing. That would fill a lot of needs that we have.
We all know Cutler, he gets hurt too much. And we all know the Texans line is just the worst right now.
Yeah, it's not good. It's going to be even worse than it was last year with all these injuries.
He's going to get hurt. So we might as well get somebody back for his life because that's what we're going to need.
Yeah, shit. Well, that's a valid point. Yeah. My thing is with Kaepernick is, he does bring that extra dimension to the offense. Oh, my God. And you have to respect that. Now, like I say, I don't know about his mental acumen. I don't know about his mental acuity, things like that. I don't know how good he is at picking up a playbook. Word around the league and, sports commentators and stuff, everybody says Bill O'Brien has this complex playbook that's hard to understand. And, at this point, the only person who has a real understanding of it is, well, I guess would be Savage and Whedon. Whedon's been there, actually. I forget, Whedon's been there 2 years, hasn't he? Because Whedon came in. He was here all last year. He was here the whole year last year, but he never played, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was here the whole year last year. And then, I know he's on the roster now. And that's sad. We had such poor quarterback play. If you didn't realize that we had a third quarterback, it's bad. And then, he played a little bit for us the previous year. So you got Whedon and Savage on the roster right now. A guy like Colin Kaepernick is a different dimension. I think he could come in and do some things. The fan base and the environment, let's keep it real. We know where we are in Houston, Texas. Real conservative place, but I find it real strange that Texas being so conservative that Houston's been electing these Democratic mayors. But we're gonna get on that's a political topic. We're gonna talk sports, but you got a place like Houston, conservative area. A lot of people, probably Trump voters, and not saying if you did or didn't, it really doesn't fucking matter. That doesn't. Who cares? But they may not agree with all the things. Trump even recently just came out, even though that the season's been over with, the stances, the not standing for the national anthem thing has been over for a while, and start mentioning Kaepernick's name again for no reason. And so you're gonna have people who are gonna feel some kind of stigma associated with that, and they're gonna think he's he might be bring too much attention to himself as opposed to the team. Now I don't know about that. I think he just wants to go somewhere where he can win. I think San Francisco was just something going on with that franchise because you had a lot of great athletes. You had a squad. We're talking about when San Francisco was balling, and all of a sudden you had a bunch of guys retire, quit, didn't want to fucking play with them anymore. Something was going on with that franchise, with that organization that was fucking with people. My thing with Kaepernick too is, like I say, I don't know how strong of a personality he is. Even though he comes out, with the whole Black Lives Matter thing and did all that, I think a lot of that he said when he first started was inspired by his girlfriend. So I don't know, how much of a guy is he? Is he his own kind of guy? He stands up on his own 10 toes, or does he, does somebody else have to inspire and motivate him? So that's what I question about Kaepernick. Now, talent, absolutely talented. Like that, I do not doubt. Can he make the throws? I do believe. Like I say, you just have a few things to worry about, like you mentioned with that line. But I'd love to see somebody like that setting up Will and DeAndre, because now you have to respect the fact that your quarterback can run. You can't cheat guys like this. You know what I mean? You have to play honestly now, and that's a facet that could be beneficial. With a weak O-line. So now you can't be one dimensional because you have a quarterback who can move the ball, with his feet too. Now, I think Kaepernick would be a nice addition. Now let's talk about the other guy, the big name or big name free agent veteran, Jay Cutler. So what are your thoughts on Jay Cutler?
He's hurt too much.
You really? But like I said, I haven't really kept up with him consistently. My interest hasn't been that much. I don't injury prone doesn't come to mind, but if he has been, I'm not aware. My biggest deal with him, my thing with him, I think, is the biggest problem I can see with him in a Texans uniform is his personality and Bill O'Brien's personality, and I don't see that shit meshing well together at all. Because when you see Cutler out there, like, he could throw a fucking interception, he could fucking fuck up in a major way, and he's real nonchalant about everything, which is okay, I guess. That's kind of how you want to be. You want to have a short-term memory, but at the same time, he just kind of has this I don't give a fuck look on his face at all times, and that just it makes it kind of difficult to believe that he wants to give it his all. You know what I mean? Sometimes I think he's just kind of out there collecting a check. That's how I feel about Jay. But now, can he make the throws? Absolutely. Is he a good quarterback? I absolutely think so. I wouldn't put him in the great upper echelon category, but I think he would be a serviceable quarterback. I just think the personality it would be a bad fit, because you got to look at Brock. Brock was like a pushover. Brock is a soft ass dude. You know what I mean? And if he, with the rumors being said, if he and Bill O'Brien somehow butted heads or it had to be something that either Bill pushed him far enough or Brock just, I don't know, finally got some nuts. His mental enhancement trainer finally told him to get some nuts and step up for himself. But honestly, it's just that I just think I think personality would be the biggest issue between Jay Cutler and the Texans. Like I said, and Bill O'Brien. Now you got a couple other people talking about some other things out there. Like I said, I don't really keep up with the college game too much, so I only get what I get, mainly from highlights and shit like that. But I know a name out there. A lot of people are mentioning, I think his name Pat Mahomes out of Tech, and what's the guy, Mitchell Trubisky. You familiar with either of these guys?
Rookie quarterback. We need somebody go out there and make play.
So are you a?
Brock.
No, that's awful. That'll be an awful decision. So, are you opposed to drafting a rookie quarterback and letting him sit behind a veteran and learn? Give him time to learn the playbook. So he'd have to.
We need to get rid of the coach because with his super complex playbook that nobody can read.
No, fuck that, dog. Fuck that. Because the guy, my thing is, people tolerated fucking Gary Kubiak for so fucking long. I was trying to get rid of Kubiak before fucking Phillips came. Phillips saved his fucking job. Got him a fucking Super Bowl. To me, Kubiak was a fucking hack job. Anyway, but people.
Kubiak have a ring?
Yeah, he got a ring, but but not from fucking. Shit, what's his name? Got a ring. He was with the Pats. He got a ring too. The same way Kubiak got his. So shit. Now what does that say? What does that mean? Ray Phillips got rings. They all got rings. All of those people got rings. Every motherfucker in that who's from the Pats organization damn near has a ring. And we're the damn Patriot South over here with all of the motherfuckers that we keep bringing in. All the fucking Patriot leftovers we bring in and fucking, try to emulate this shit and something's not clicking. But my deal is this: Bill O'Brien has had a winning record every year he's been here. Is that justifiable for firing a coach? He's a hot commodity. It's a lot of fucking teams that were eager to see what was going to happen with the Texans and Bill O'Brien after this, because there was a lot of rumors floating that he was going to get fired after the season, which I thought was fucking ridiculous. If that would have happened, I might have been a real angry Texans fan. But he's had a winning record every year he's been here. With what at quarterback? With no quarterback, dog. With Brock, he didn't want Brock Osweiler. Rick Smith went out and got Brock Osweiler on his own. Bill O'Brien didn't want Brock Osweiler, but you can't come out and say, okay, we paid this motherfucker a bunch of money and say, man, I don't want this fucking shitty ass quarterback. I don't want this fucking gallon of dumpster juice. I don't want this fucking BFI bin. That dude was hot trash, dog. You know what I mean? And he did his best to work with him because they invested the fucking money in him. And shit, so you had to. But he didn't want to fuck with Osweiler. He fucking hated working with Osweiler. He knew Osweiler wasn't that good, dog. Fucking Rick Smith. And I gave Rick Smith a lot of credit for the Osweiler trade this year, but I'm taking all my credit back from Rick Smith. I'm not giving him any credit. I'm giving the Browns credit for making a smart move. Rick Smith just happened to be in the right place at the right time to be able to execute that transaction. Rick Smith is the reason that we were in the fuck up in the first place. So you don't get credit for being a great GM for just fixing your fuck up. You know what I mean? But, like I say, I think Rick Smith is the fucking problem. Like, I'm not a fan of Rick Smith. Like, to me, of course you can draft well in the first round, but shit, that first round, that was fucking, when Watt came, that was fucking Wade Phillips. Fucking some of these other guys, that's been coaches' picks, not Rick Smith. And then you got, he's traditionally not done very well after the third round. Like, he's not a good value finder. I mean, think about it. Who after the third round has been a great Texan? What 4th through 7th round? Aaron Foster was an undrafted free agent. So that doesn't count. I'm talking about drafts. Like,
I can't think off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How did they get Bouye? Was Bouye drafted or was Bouye a free agent?
What about the defensive tackle, DJ Reader? What draft was he?
Reader, I think Reader was third or fourth rounder. I have to go back and look, but he's still relatively new. He ain't just panned out into nothing amazing yet. You know what I mean? I'm talking about, surviving that first contract and sign another contract with the team, a better contract with the Texans. You've had some guys come in, show up, and then go elsewhere like Bouye. I've liked Bouye since he first got to the Texans. I can't remember if he fucking drafted or he came as a undrafted, but when I started seeing him play, shit, I knew he was gonna be good. I could see that shit. Fucking you pull his major move, you let that dude walk, dog. You would have had the most stout secondary with Kevin Johnson coming back. You'd have kept Bouye. It'd have been hard pressed to find a better secondary. Jacksonville had something going. Now they really got something going because they got that motherfucker. But you'd have been hard pressed to find 2 or 3 better secondaries. And like I say, with Kevin Johnson's gonna be the truth. He was already on his way to becoming a real a household name. And then he got hurt. J. Joe is all right, but he's declining. Kareem's declining. Actually, I've gone way off topic. We're supposed to be talking about quarterbacks, but other factors into this shit. There's a lot of factors. Like I say, Rick Smith to me is the problem as to why we're not maintaining the level of success that we could. Because, man, think about it. We've had some talent. It was a year we had 8 or 9 Pro Bowlers. We had the most Pro Bowlers in the league. This was under Kubiak's watch. And, man, we weren't doing shit, dog. We couldn't get past, like, we have historically not been able to beat the Patriots no matter what, dog. And now we've become, like I say, a wannabe carbon copy minus the Tom Brady. You know what I mean? And shit. What do we have to show for it? So if it's not in the draft, you say no to the draft. We got 1 or 2 veterans. What other options do we have? What do you do? Because you have a small window of talent. Like I say, I'm really questionable on whether DeAndre's going to come back, because the thing is, if you can't find a quarterback, why am I going to play? I'm one of the best receivers in the fucking league when you give me shit trash quarterbacks. So imagine I can go on the free agent market, go wherever I want to go. People going to ante up. They're going to pony up the money to pay fucking DeAndre Hopkins. So what I'm saying is, right now, this year, this decision is more important probably than any other time in Texans history, because this is your window and this is where you could dismantle your entire team. Because who knows what the personalities in the locker room are feeling, what the leaders in the locker room are feeling, how you got talent, Pro Bowl level talent at every position except quarterback. Consistently at every position but quarterback. Had an all-time great receiver, always, Andre Johnson, then pass it on to DeAndre Hopkins. Have always been pretty solid at the running back position. For the most part. Once Arian came and kind of, after that it was. Before that it was kind of sketchy. With Slayton and Davis and all them type of dudes. But what I'm saying, man, is really important. So what decision do you make? You have to do something. So what do? You can't do nothing. You either go after one of these guys or you make a move in the draft. Do you believe you have that much faith in Kaepernick that he's the guy that you go behind for the next 2 years while you have this window?
Hey, you have a better choice than anybody else we got.
So you feel that there's no talent available elsewhere. Who's out there? Who's still out there? I think Case is still out there. Case Keenum might still be out there.
Wow.
Shit, Brett Favre might still be out there.
Well.
Hell no.
We had a quarterback. We just didn't groom him. As simple as that.
What are you talking about? The dude was trash, dog. You can't groom garbage, man. Like, I'm telling you, I know Bill.
You say he's trash and we went to the playoffs.
Because we had a great defense. Now, we had a great defense without a J.J. Watts. Can you imagine how good that bitch would have been with a J.J.? That's why we went to the fucking playoffs. That's why we went to so hold on. Because clean out my ears here, because if I'm hearing you right, let me get up in there real good. So basically, you're saying the dude who would barely have 100 yards passing by the fourth quarter is responsible for the success of the Texans?
Never say irresponsible. Never said irresponsible. Let's say no, we went to the playoffs.
We went to the playoffs in spite of Brock Osweiler. We went to the playoffs and held a decent, played a decent. Okay, here we go.
Played better than Andrew Luck because his team went to the playoffs and they did.
No, dog. Now you're giving him way too much credit, dog. You're giving him way too much credit. Like, no. Okay, well, let's compare the stats. Man, let me Google this shit real quick. Without looking, I guarantee that Blake Bortles and Andrew Luck both had more passing yards than he did. I'll go out on a limb. Not even going to go out on a limb. I bet they both had more touchdowns than he did.
Yeah, everybody probably had more touchdowns than Trent Dilfer did too whenever he won the Super Bowl.
Trent Dilfer didn't win the fucking Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer was at the Super Bowl. He ain't do shit. Trent Dilfer, no, I don't ever want to hear anybody say Trent Dilfer won the Super Bowl. Ray Lewis won the Super Bowl. Are you really going to give Trent Dilfer? Have we gone this far down the hole of Brock Osweiler loving that we're going to start giving Trent Dilfer credit for a Super Bowl victory? Who all was on that team?
Who was on what team?
That's when they had Jamal Lewis, right?
Yeah.
That's when they had who else they had on that team? That was Bolden wasn't on that team. Who else they had on the fucking Ravens on that fucking team? Who am I thinking about? They had a badass receiver. Was Heap on that team? Who did they have? They had a cold receiver on that team, dog. Anyway, but like I said, the defense, come on, Ray, dog, Ed, dog, come on. Those are the dudes that won the fucking game, dog. Come on, niggas wasn't running on you. When you take a aspect of the game away from a team, I mean, when you take a whole game away from them, you couldn't do shit on them. You couldn't run on that defense. You couldn't pass on that defense. You could do nothing but just show up and wait for the game to end. Trent Dilfer didn't have to do shit but hand the fucking ball off. Lewis was running over everybody. So you're going to give Trent Dilfer credit for that Super Bowl victory?
He was a starting quarterback. Yeah, you give him credit.
Oh, man. I get, okay, yeah, being reasonable, he was the starting quarterback. But if they had something like, what's that shit in basketball where basically, I don't know if it's the player efficiency rating is the one that tells how much a player is involved or how much of the scoring or whatever the plays are involved with a player. That dude, Trent Dilfer, was probably a 0.0, dog. The dude was unnecessary. You could have put anybody back there. Anybody back there. And fucking,
well, they didn't have other players on the bench that could play quarterback that didn't do it.
Man, look, they didn't have to. Because there was no reason to take Dilfer out because all he had to do was hand the fucking ball off. Shit, what are you going to get benched for having to do that for?
Looks like I talked something about Brock, but, I mean, Tom Savage apparently can't do it. That's why he didn't get the starting position.
What? No, Tom Savage didn't get the starting position because, like I just said, Rick Smith went out and spent a bunch of money to try to bring in a name to think he was pulling some kind of power move by stealing the fucking backup quarterback from the Broncos, and he thought that he was just doing some shit without consulting anybody and fucking pulled off a fucking flop. That's not the same, dog. Like, Savage played better.
We'll see.
Shit. That may be the fucking option. I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. We're not even talking about that. We're talking about bringing all these other quarterbacks in. But who knows the playbook better than Savage?
Well, he can't get it done. That's why he's not a starter.
What are you talking about? He was playing in the game and he had a concussion protocol. That's the only reason he didn't play.
He didn't even throw a touchdown not one time he played.
He played one.
Like he was out there playing like Tom Brady.
He played one time. He played one time, one whole game.
That's enough.
No. So that's enough for him to play one game, and this dude Brockton played a whole season, but it wasn't enough for Brock. But it was enough for Savage. How? Come on, man. I hope I don't get sued for saying that. That copyrighted. Come on, man. Fuck that. Come on, man. Like, no, dog. Can't do it. You can't give Brock a pass. And this dude has been a starter for more. I mean, not a starter. He's been in the NFL for more years. Played, started, been in more games. Has the experience in the situations. And say, oh, he didn't get a chance. But then, looking at all the involved circumstances, say that Savage wasn't good enough. You're telling me that Savage can't do everything Brock did, which was nothing? Brock had...
He couldn't score touchdowns.
Brock couldn't score touchdowns.
Oh, well, he had a touchdown on his belt.
Duh, this is ridiculous stuff you're saying. Ridiculous stuff. There were periods of time where Brock was going 6 to 7 quarters without scoring a touchdown, dog. So the dude Savage got in for what? A game and a half, essentially. Got knocked out. Didn't score a touchdown, but he was moving the offense. You know, you seen a difference in the fucking offense.
He got hit by the same people Brock did. Brock got his ass up every time.
Like I said, a noticeable.
Exactly.
No, dog, come on. No, it's no exactly nothing. No, exactly nothing. No, listen. Listen. No. Listen. No.
I would talk shit about Brock, but they didn't. They went to the playoffs. You give the guy another chance.
No, you don't get a guy a fucking chance because he wasn't the one. He got yanked because in the game, it was a game that could have got us out of it. We wouldn't have been in the playoffs. He would have lost it. The reason Savage did not go back in after he was hurt. He was going back in the game, put his helmet on and everything. They came back and said that he didn't pass the concussion. I've never seen no shit like that in my life. Where you come out, they say you passed the concussion protocol. You come out, I think he actually came in for a play or two. Then at half, couldn't come back out. They put Brock back in because they said that Savage was out with a concussion. So through concussion protocol into the next game, it led over to the point where he'd missed practice time for a playoff game. So of course he can't play. You don't start. You got to start the guy who can actually practice. You win the game, then you keep going. That's just what it is. Savage just fell into an unfortunate circumstance. You're talking crazy, man. Brock fell into a fortunate circumstance. Savage fell into an unfortunate circumstance. Now, my worry about Savage, though, is that he has had only a limited amount of time playing. And in those limited amounts of time playing, he has gotten hurt. So, yeah, that's an issue. That's something to consider. But to say that Brock Osweiler is better than Tom Savage, I'm going to respectfully disagree.
Y'all are crazy. First of all, to say, not all of this falls on Brock's shoulder. It falls also on good coaching. Bill O'Brien, not a good coach. Bill Belichick whooped our ass with a third-string quarterback that had not played since.
Absolutely. But look at this.
Receivers that are not even, they would probably not even start on other teams.
Okay, but what I'm saying, so is that on the offense or is that on the defense?
That's on Bill O'Brien is horrible.
On a third, if you got a third-string quarterback playing against your defense needs to step up and make plays. They should be feasting. So if the defense doesn't do their job on that.
We're the number one defense in the league, and we still didn't shine.
But whose fault is that? That's not Bill O'Brien's fault. As a head coach, yes, the L falls under him.
It's a story not on Brock. The subject is who should we pick now because Brock's gone. He's gonna go to the Super Bowl with the Browns. Let's go ahead and get Cullen so he can run around for a couple of years until they rebuild that line. Because until we get a line, ain't nobody gonna last that quarterback. I don't care who the fuck you put back there.
Dog. You're talking crazy. You're talking real crazy.
It's true. Who you put? You put Tom Brady back there, he's gonna get hurt too because he gets sacked.
Look.
He'll probably fuck around. He'll probably fuck around and choke Bill O'Brien on the sideline because he gets sacked so many times.
So now Tom Brady is Latrell Sprewell.
Basically.
On that note, we need to end this conversation. Tom Brady is Latrell Sprewell. That's what I'm going to name this. This is going to be the title of this video. So anybody watches this shit, they're going to be wondering what the fuck. is going on. And you can thank Shaq Kush for that. And so thank Shaq Kush by going and giving him a follow on the Twitter and the Instagram. You know, his credentials are right there. So, you know, do that damn thing. I'm the real Ed Honcho. I don't know what to think for the rest of the day. Tom Brady is Latrell Sprewell. Wildest thing I've ever heard. Brock Osweiler is better than Tom Savage. That's the second wildest thing I've ever heard. Shaq Kush, you got any shout-outs, man, before we get up out of here?
Tom Savage has improved shit. He sucks. Brock going to the Super Bowl with the Browns. Touchdown Timothy Tebow. Tom Brady will choke the shit out of Bill O'Brien because he's horrible. Everybody gives that man kudos because he sat under Bill Belichick. Who gives a shit? Fuck Bill O'Brien.
And on that note, it's your boy Ed Honcho. Shout out to that boy Bart Hampson. I don't know what to say about that. I'm done. I'm done. It's Ed Honcho. Deuce up. I'm fucking out of here, man. Tom Brady is Latrell Sprewell. I done fucking heard it all. I done heard this nigga just said that, man, that fucking Brock Osweiler is going to the fucking Super Bowl with the fucking Cleveland Browns. Good night, universe.